What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Jacob and B podcast show. I am the host, Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard, alongside me. If you don't know what the Jacob and Me podcast is all about, and it's your first time here, it's a podcast where me and my best friend Jacob here talk about anything and everything in pop culture, nerddom, stuff like movies, video games, TV shows, and anything else we like to jerk off to. Also, we get into an undrafted segment or sports little segment. We don't have one this week. We'll have one next week for sure. And we usually take a stroll down Pennsylvania Avenue with some history and no topic for that one as well, unfortunately. But we shall start. How are you doing, Jacob?
I had something really clever that I was going to answer that question with
Yesterday.
yesterday that I thought of about, and I don't remember what it was.
I had a question for you yesterday.
No, you asked this question, how are you doing? And I yesterday, just out of the blue, something really random but clever popped in my head about how to answer that question.
Oh.
But I forgot it. So now I'm just going to sound stupid and just say okay.
Okay.
I don't remember what I was going to say. So
Sorry, man.
it's all your fault.
I'm sorry. Let us begin the show, sir, with some new releases, as we always do. What do we have coming out this week in the world of entertainment?
3 movies and 1 video game that I want to trash on.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready? Numero uno, Friday, December the 14th, is a movie called Mortal Engines. This is being made by, I believe it's the producers behind the Lord of the Rings trilogy, if I remember correctly.
This is like the weird one with like a bunch. I don't know. I think I've seen the trailer to this, so it doesn't look too good.
It's been getting kind of okay reviews. It has Hera Hilmar, Hugo Weaving, and I'm not sure who else is in this movie. I'm sure there are a couple other people that names we would somewhat recognize. Do you want to do your whole synopsis thing for this, or?
What was the title?
Mortal Engines.
All right, here we go. We have a little train. It's a train story, all right? Okay. It's like think of like Thomas the Train, but like that's like realistic.
Excuse me, it's Thomas the Tank Engine, but thank you.
Thomas the Train. But like it doesn't like look like that. It's not that cartoony.
Okay.
It's like realistic. Like they somehow morph. Like it looks like a transformer talking basically in the front of the train.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I'm with you so far.
First. Okay. So this is a journey of him becoming the new train in town. He just graduated training school. And he meets challenges and mean little trains, other mean trains, and then he proves himself, and he saves the little girl train at the end of the movie, and yeah.
Okay.
Then he wins the award at the end of the movie is called the Immortal Train.
It's just Mortal Train.
Or Mortal
Way
Train.
to go. You ruined
Whatever.
it. You ruined it. So Mortal Engines is set in a post-apocalyptic world where cities ride on wheels and consume each other to survive.
Yeah, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, this is
2 people meet in London and try to stop a conspiracy.
Oh, why?
Those 2 sentences are they could have possibly nothing to do with each other. It's like, well, these cities eat each other, and these 2 people are going to meet in one of those cities and try to stop a conspiracy. So I don't know why you told me that first sentence, because the second sentence has nothing to do with it.
I just don't understand. Like, I just feel bad for everyone working special effects for this movie. Like, it does.
Got paid?
They got paid. It looks pretty good for what they did, but they're just like, this is what I'm working on. This is
currently has a 6.6 on IMDb.
Like, who thought this was like even like a remotely good idea?
Someone did.
Oh,
Whoever. It doesn't tell me what studio this is anywhere.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it doesn't give me a studio.
Okay, well, let's keep moving.
Okay. Let's do that. Movie number 2. Something up. Actually, I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to go to 3 and then I'll come back to 2.
Okay.
Movie number 3 on this list is the most recent Clint Eastwood movie. It is called The Mule.
We got to watch this too.
We do have to go. We should go watch this, yeah. Obviously starring Clint Eastwood, who is somehow still in movies even though he's like 90 years old.
He's a World War II veteran, right? Or Korean.
Korean.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Clint Eastwood, Bradley Cooper, and Taisa Farmiga. I probably butchered that, and I apologize to that person, but I have not heard that name before.
Okay.
So would you like to give me a synopsis for this movie?
Yeah, this is a story of a mule in little Tijuana, Mexico, and him and his other mule-lean friends, the Charez the gecko, and Pedro the parrot, go on a life-changing adventure to save the mule himself, who we're gonna name him Chewbacca for right now.
I don't think Disney would be very happy with that.
I was trying to come up with something.
Okay.
Go and find his previous writer. And
writer?
Yeah. his lifelong writer, and to go save him from bad guys. It's a animated film.
So it sounds like it's Madagascar 4, but with different animals.
Sure.
Okay.
I was thinking of like Ringo, but okay.
So in this movie, were you talking when you said Clint Eastwood a veteran of World War II? Were you talking about this movie or actual in real life?
Like in real life.
Okay, yeah. I think he's a Korean War veteran in real life. In this movie, he's a World War II veteran.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's like not that far away.
Yeah. So he is. Clint Eastwood plays a 90-year-old horticulturist, which I'm not actually sure what that is. And World War II veteran. He is caught transporting $3 million worth of cocaine through Michigan for a Mexican drug cartel. Doesn't really give you, I guess, a lot to go on as to where the story is going to go from there, but check that out. It is Clint Eastwood's most recent movie called The Mule, and it is in theaters this Friday the 14th. And that takes us to our final of the 3 movies that we're going to talk about. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, an animated feature film from, I guess, is this Disney?
No, I know it's Marvel for sure.
Marvel for sure. Well, I mean, Marvel is Disney, so psych. Haley Steinfeld is voicing, I guess it's Spider-Gwen. Jake Johnson is lending his voice to this movie as well. And Mahershala Ali. Yeah, Jake Johnson, Haley Steinfeld, Mahershala Ali. John Mulaney is in this. Nicolas Cage is in this. Chris Pine is in this. Oscar Isaac is in this.
This seems like a lot of waste of resources and voices.
I guess. Stan Lee is actually in this as well. R.I.P. to him. So yeah.
I'm not gonna have one for this one.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Spider-Man.
It is Spider-Man. It's been getting pretty good reviews so far.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
A little bit weird that I guess there are so many of the Spider-Man characters kind of being thrown together.
Well, this is based off like it's something Morales. I forgot. It's
Miles Morales.
Miles. I was thinking of Kenneth. I was like Kenneth Morales. I was like, that's not his first name. Miles Morales. His first look at the big screen, or first time on the big screen, which I'm happy about. Because he's an awesome character, not because he's half black, half Hispanic, but because he's a guy or like a kid. I just like the story of him, I guess, in a way. And then becoming Spider-Man, just like how Spider-Man is a lot of what's the thing that Spider-Man is saying, like something with a lot of responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. There you go. And yeah, I'm excited and also the way it looks, it has like a comic book-y look with it, like the shades of it. You'll see like the dot. I forgot what you call it. There's a certain way they used to make comics back in the day with like dots printed out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And like you'll see hints of that in like the shadows and in the actual animations, which I'm really when I first saw the trailer, that's what I saw. I wasn't like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man. Now I was like, oh my god, it looks like a comic book movie, like an actual like comic book movie. And it'd be kind of interesting to see if this does, and then see if it results in other movies of like I guess B characters caliber or C character caliber kind of stuff like this being made. Obviously this is also made for like kids, which is I'm fine with, but it's nice to see something a little bit different too that Marvel is doing. Besides like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm excited to see this. There's a lot of good movies that are coming out this week. We talked about seeing this and The Mule, and then there's another movie. Do we have to go see? I think it's Aquaman. No, that's next week.
Aquaman's not until the 21st.
What was coming out on the 12th that I don't remember? I'm blanking out on.
There was Mowgli, there was Mary Queen of Scots, and there was Vox Lux last week. So I don't know what you were thinking of. The 12th would be like a weird day for a movie release.
I don't know what it was. I'm crazy.
I think you're just imagining things.
I think I am.
So anyway, those are our 3 movies for this week. Check those out if you're interested. Let us know what you think of them in the comments down below. That takes us to, there were no really television, no big significant television.
Oh, Deadpool. Sorry.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Deadpool. Yeah, okay. No big television premieres this week, so that takes us to video games. I don't even know that I would call this a big game. I guess it's a kind of a re-release. But this Friday is the re-release of Borderlands 2, but the twist is that it's in VR. And so I'm going to take just a few seconds of my time and your time to bash this game, because I cannot believe... Not really, no. The longer you hold it up there, the less it looks like an R.
Sorry. I was trying to make the V look into the R. But
Well, first off, it's you're the one seeing the VR.
Oh, that's right.
Because you have it backwards. Yeah, there you go. Now your R is backwards.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks right to you, which means it looks wrong to me.
I don't care.
That was closer, actually. That was a lot better. That was more like almost like the Robin R sort of thing.
Gang,
All
son.
right, anyway.
Sorry.
I can't believe that Gearbox and 2K, everyone's over here pining for Borderlands 3, and this is what they give us instead.
Next year.
Borderlands 2 VR. I don't think Borderlands coming out next year. I think it's I think it's already a next gen game.
Yeah, I think I would be fine. If anything, you should be happy that it's going to be a next gen game, even though it hasn't been on.
I would be happy if I had Borderlands 3. The art style isn't going to lend like.
I know
it's not a graphically or visually impressive game, just because of the art style.
Think of like what they can do in expanding the world, making you suck your life into that game even more.
Look at how big of a game they made with Red Dead. Could you imagine how much bigger of a game you could make with the Borderlands 3 with that art style? It's not as taxing on the system.
I guess, but I don't think they have the same kind of process as Red Dead team does. So
fine. But if you are one of the 5 people that bought a PlayStation VR, you can. I think there's like actually a few million of them, but whatever.
Damn, dude, you just like buried.
You can check out Borderlands 2 VR. It's a pretty good. I mean, Borderlands 2 is a pretty good game. Don't get me wrong. It'll be interesting to see how the controls and such work, because shooters tend to be one of the more difficult games to get down and to like make well in VR, just because normally it's the motion that kind of trips people up in that game. That make a lot of people that suffer from motion sickness, for example, struggle most with shooters, because like you're walking in the game and you have the full headset on, and it's the motion with your body knowing that your feet aren't moving that throws a lot of people.
I've never had a problem with this, and I always just want to slap the people that complain about being motion sick. I'm like, then don't.
I think it's actually a majority of people that would get sick from it that then don't.
I don't know. It's just so weird how maybe just the way my brain is like used to playing something like that. Because I remember going to like the arcade games and like hitting the things over your head and already just like going. So maybe
but in those, like, you aren't moving, you're just rotating.
I know, but still, like, So
like your brain knows that you're rotating, so it makes sense.
I know, but I feel like I'm like really immersed. So like whenever I've done the Batman one,
okay,
and I didn't have a problem with it. Maybe if I would have played more than an hour, maybe, but I only played it for like the demo period. So
well, anyway, that will be there for you PSVR owners. Or I guess I guess maybe it is just PSVR. I actually didn't look to see if it was like Oculus or
I would assume
what's
if
the
you
other
on
one?
the PC, you'd be able to do something with it on the PC. With
I'm forgetting one.
Oculus and Rift.
Oculus Rift is the same thing.
Oh, I thought it was two different things. Sorry.
There's another one that I'm blanking on. There's like a third big company that has their own thing. That I'm blanking on the name of it. Anyway, if you have VR and you want to play Borderlands, maybe check this out. If not,
What's the one that
pray
Josh
for
has?
a Borderlands
Does Josh
3.
have VR?
Yes, he has the one that I'm forgetting. I think.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
I don't think he has Oculus, so it must be the other one.
Okay.
Anyway,
Is that it?
yes. So that takes us to our next segment.
Alrighty. I'm going to take the reins on this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is Video Game Twitter. First one is technically not a video game, but is a shout out to a video game that this is based off of. It's an IGN tweet from a day ago. Get your first look at Sonic the Hedgehog in a new live action movie.
Why? No one cares.
It looked cool. I thought it was like weird looking. So that's a shout out to that.
I guess if they could pull off what Detective Pikachu seems to have pulled off, maybe it'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that Sonic has kind of gone through the cracks of like iconic game characters. I think he's like top 10 still, but like he's not in the top 5 anymore.
I think it's because Sega. Well, obviously Sega doesn't really make too many video games anymore, but they failed to transition Sonic out of 2D.
Yeah.
16-bit games.
I agree.
That's why Mario survived and Sonic didn't.
The next one is a actually direct Doom tweet. Doom turned 25 a day ago, I believe. And it's titled "Times Change, Doom is Eternal." It's a cool video of day one Doom to the latest Doom, and I believe there's some snippets of like Doom Eternal in this as well. So it's a nod to like the old players, and it has these really cool, just like cuts of the actual old PCs that it was being played on, and did through the times of different PCs. Cool little just community art things that people have made in the past. It's just a little cool thing to like look at and see, like a game like that kind of be able to transition through the decades and still be relevant, I guess. The next one is probably what's gonna make Jacob mad. Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion announcements, which also was an announcement in there of Geralt from The Witcher being in the game.
What?
Being able to play as him. Yeah, so together, and then there's another tweet that's kind of like with this. It's from The Witcher game Twitter account. Together with Konami, we are presenting the crossover everyone's been waiting for.
Right,
Geralt takes on new contract on a new contract in Monster Hunter World. And there's a trailer, and that's coming out in early 2019. The Iceborne trailer or expansion pack actually doesn't come out until, I believe, autumn of 2019. But there's no exact date for the Geralt one, so be on the lookout for that, because in the article didn't say that, and I believe that was an IGN article. Next, we got
Put Geralt in Smash. That'll be the crossover everyone. That's the crossover everyone's waiting for.
well, something that everyone's been waiting on for a return of, and that is. Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Thanos is coming back to Fortnite, or maybe might be coming back to Fortnite.
Yeah, there we go. Let all the 5. I guess I won't bash on this. Let all the 5-year-olds have their fun with Thanos.
It's a hint in a patch note that was recently put out. Apparently, that people found some weird code in there that suggests that he might be making a return because of the Avenger trailer. So they might want to hop on to that little hype train.
Can Thanos? This is what I want from this. Okay, I want there to be an update that adds Thanos back in, and it's this special game mode, and anyone. So they, say there's how many people in a Fortnite game? 100, right? 100 people in a Fortnite game. Okay, so 100 people join up the lobby. All it is Thanos doing like one of the typical Fortnite dances. He's flossing, and at the end of the floss, he snaps his fingers, and the game is deleted off of half those people's computers. That's all I want. Just purge Fortnite from.
The article is titled "Fortnite Dataminers Find Hints of Thanos Return to Game." So I think that was kind of
make use of that finger snap.
Kind of interesting. Just because when that character or when they had the update come out, that was like pretty big when the Avengers movie came out.
What if they did a thing where instead of anyone who's outside of the area when the timer ends, half of them are killed instantly?
I would just say all of them.
No, half. No, Thanos is there. You have to do the half with the snap.
Well, the other half are in the circle.
No. The other people that are in the circle are safe for now because you can't like completely change the.
Wasn't it?
You can't have an RNG game
it's
mode
not 50%
like that.
Then
50% of the people that are outside of the circle.
No, everyone.
Well, then you can't, because then you could have someone that has 15 kills and then they just
That's
randomly
too
die.
bad.
Okay, that's dumb. That would be really
Well, Thanos doesn't care.
dumb. Okay, whatever. Thanos would respect the people that survive to get into the circle.
Nah, he'd be like, "You're dead."
Okay.
All right, here we go. This one is a first look at a game, World War Z game. First look at playable classes. I've totally forgot this game exists, which is going to be coming out next year. The playable classes names are Exterminator, Fixer, Gunslinger, Hellraiser, Medic, and Slasher. What was it saying? Oh, it was on IGN's Games to Watch for 2019 for next year. So they've gotten their hands on it apparently. And there's a trailer in there for you guys to look at.
All right.
Oh, we got 3 more for you guys.
Trace Mass.
The next one is related to the Video Game Awards, the making of the Game Awards 2018. They go, and the beginning of the article talks about how it all started with Jeff Keighley, and how he even got the idea to do it, and how low budgeted the original ones were to now. They actually talk about in the article where they were trying to figure out how they wanted it to look, and they actually used a Britney Spears stage in Las Vegas to figure out how they wanted to like look.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it goes through that article. The rest of the articles don't want to spoil everything for you guys. It's kind of an interesting read just to talk or to learn how like that whole process is, I guess, and how hard it is to like put something like that together.
Did you see? I think it was the week before the Game Awards. There was one of the major channels. I want to say it was CBS, but I could be wrong. Made their own video game awards.
No one cares about that one.
And they I know, but like they had like a broadcasted event or whatever for this video game awards thing, and they said, like, the announcers or whatever were like, "Oh, isn't it so cool that like video games have finally reached the point where we're like we can have that this is like the first like time they're being recognized for like what they're doing." And there were a bunch of people like in the video game industry on Twitter that were like, we've had this other video game award show for like years
even
and years.
Before that one, there was like very smaller awards that they would have, until like I think like the video game awards that came around, I want to say like 6 years ago. This version of it.
Anyway, it was like this awkward moment where it's like, hello. Because
like,
there's a much bigger video games award show than you.
Yeah, they they translated from they were on some, I forgot who, Spike maybe, that did this, or some smaller
maybe G4.
Yeah, or something like
back in the day.
and then when they switched over to the internet streaming.
Yeah.
So, we got 2 more for you guys. This one is a shout out to our buddy Joshua David Evenson. His birthday was this past week. But
Mazel tov.
Rising Storm 2 Vietnam gets festive with Green Army Men Christmas updates.
Oh no.
So I don't know if you guys ever played, I forgot what it was called. I think it was something Army Men on the N64, where you played as like toy soldiers. Like Toy Soldier, like the recent one that came out. But it was like actual green men. But yeah, it's like a new, I think it's 2 new maps, I believe, and then everyone is kind of like green men, and it's all like toyed out. Like there's like, instead of, I guess, being in Vietnam, you're like in a living room by a Christmas tree.
Makes sense.
Fighting other.
I don't think that a game. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I played Rising Storm, but I wouldn't think that a game as realistic as that would translate well to something like that.
I think it would. I think they've put enough time into it, and it looks awesome from the trailer. The trailer's in there as well. And if you're a Rising Storm fan, I think you guys will probably like this. And I think it's also trying to appeal to just the like not mainstream market, but the regular market of first-person shooters, and to see like, oh, whoa, look, they have this cool little like Armyman mode thing. Let me try this out.
Okay.
So I think I'm not sure how
I think
much
Rising Storm is too niche for.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see. I think some dumb people out there were like, "Oh, I want to try this," and they actually play it, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm getting destroyed because this is
a real shooter."
Yeah.
What? No aim assist?
Yeah. But yes, the last one, hopefully, is gonna get Jacob triggered. It is a Counter-Strike tweet. Counter-Strike Battle Royale is small, fast, and confusing.
I don't care about Counter-Strike. It could be purged from the earth, and I wouldn't lose any sleep.
It's a Kotaku article on basically this guy's or gal Heather Alexandra, sorry, her article on her experience with it and in comparison to the other battle royales. The I guess downside of this battle royale is that the map is a bit too small for tactical planning or to be able to be kind of tactical, I guess. And it's a little bit buggy.
I'm sure there's some huge Counter-Strike fan that's yelling at you right now through their screen. Or like,
well, this is what she
Counter-Strike is tactical.
Well, I think it's probably
terrorists win
for like the battle royale kind of transition for them. Because I know
you're too late. Call of Duty already released theirs. It's over.
Yeah, Saturday, because we were talking about it on Saturday when we were all together about it for a little bit there. But yeah, I'm down to try this.
It is free to play, though.
Yes. Well, I already own Counter-Strike regardless.
But CS:GO went completely free to play, didn't it?
Yeah. But regardless, I would definitely be down to try this and to have my own opinion on it as well. And that concludes Video Game Twitter for this week. Shall we move, sir?
I guess so.
I'm sorry, I just saw this thing called 2.0 on my AMC app. It looks stupid. What is next?
We're going to be talking about some little-known trailer that was dropped since we last recorded.
Okay. It was like a couple of days after we recorded the last one, I believe, right?
It was Thursday, I think.
Oh, Thursday?
That they dropped. So it was like, a couple of days after we recorded.
Yeah. The Avengers Endgame trailer dropped on December 6th. Basically days after the Captain Marvel one dropped as well, which like we were talking last week was, I think one of the posters was leaked, and then that's when that dropped, and then people were like, yo, this is nice and everything, but can we get the Avengers one?
Where's that Avengers trailer?
And we got it. A lot of cool things that I've seen people talk about and things that I was already noticing, and then when I watched the breakdown, I was like, oh, I saw that too, thanks. But it was a like flat, didn't have any like fighting scenes or anything like that, which is that surprising at all to see nothing like that in like the first trailer, I'm guessing? Because like the first Infinity War trailer, we saw
I
a lot
liked
of
that it
fighting.
didn't, but I guess maybe it is a little bit of a little bit surprising.
It's a little different.
I think that they don't need to sell it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they could get away with this sort of a trailer. Because they don't need, they're not trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna go see this movie.
Yeah. You see Tony Stark on a ship, using, I forgot what the Guardians of the Galaxy ship is called. I forgot.
I don't remember.
It's the newer one that they got from the second movie. And then you also see, I'm not sure if she's in it, but Nebula might be with him on the ship, because you see her in like the similar kind of setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also see her put her hand on a deceased person. Hopefully that is Tony Stark. Because that's what the starting trailer is talking about, how he's running out of supplies
and oxygen,
and is stranded in the middle of the universe or somewhere in space.
The final frontier.
And then we also see glimpses of other characters. Bruce Banner. He looks at a screen, and you see Scott Lang, Peter Parker, and then what's the Black Panther's little sister's name?
Shuri.
Shuri.
Something like that.
Right before it switches to Peter Parker, you see her for a split second there. So if you caught that, like I did before, I saw it down. I knew that. Oh my god. But yeah, because obviously Peter Parker was on the ship with Tony
He wasn't
Stark.
feeling so well.
Yeah. And then obviously they don't. I mean, they don't. I think they don't know who Doctor Strange was before all that stuff happened, anyways. Besides Thor. But yeah, they don't know where he is. But I would assume they would have some kind of like tracking thing of him leaving the atmosphere with his suit. You know what I mean? Because both his suits both have some kind of tracking in it. So I'd assume like, let's check out the system. And, he went to space, probably with Tony on that ship. Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. That's just like me. That was like the thing I thought of after. Like thinking I was like.
But he didn't. Well, I mean, there probably was tracking on it, but did anyone even know that suit existed?
This is Pepper. And what's his name? Happy.
Okay.
Minimum. That's a minimum.
Wait. Maybe I missed something here. We're talking about the Iron Spider suit.
Yeah, they knew about that because they saw it right before at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming when they were going to present him as the Avenger, and he shows them the suit. And
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play.
So
Continue.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but maybe Pepper and Happy are not alive either.
But they didn't know that he gave it to him.
But but still in his regular suit, there has to be some kind of tracking in there.
What was the I forget the name of like the protocol or whatever that was like
training wheels or something.
Training,
like
yeah. That was good.
Also, and then we see Captain America with the Scarlett Johansson. I believe in that scene, there's multiple pieces from that scene. I think the Scott Lang happens before him and her talk about like, it might work or something like that, and then he says like, it's gonna work or something. So I think they're gonna use, because they have the van. Obviously, that's like the big thing. We see the van at the end of Ant-Man and see what it can do, and that's probably where we've hinted from the original Wasp, who is played by Michelle Pfeiffer. I forgot what's her name from the movies? Pym.
Michelle Pfeiffer's character, I don't remember her name.
Okay, well, Michelle Pfeiffer's character talked about like you might get like lost in like a time warp or something like that, and that's probably how Scott Lang got out of that, and is gonna use the van. Like, yo guys, I have this sweet van. We could go time travel right now. Let's go stop this Thanos guy because I kind of want to save my girlfriend and her parents, and then hopefully his daughter is alive.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about her.
His daughter's alive, so obviously he has some incentive to bring people back. And then we also so like that interaction is gonna be kind of fun, I think, with Scarlett Johansson and Ant-Man, even though they already did have a couple of interactions, I believe. But regardless, and then actually one that I'm really excited about is Bruce Banner or Mark Ruffalo's character and Ant-Man together. That's gonna be fun to see because they're gonna be in the same facility technically.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing their interactions together is gonna be fun. Another thing we saw was Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's character.
He crazy.
Where everyone's coining as Ronin, his other alias in the Marvel universe, because obviously someone probably died in his family, or maybe all of them, through the snap. And you see Scarlett Johansson discover him.
Because I don't think he would lose it to the point that he appears to have lost it if it wasn't all of them.
Yeah.
Or maybe at a minimum his children.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else that I can think of off the top of my head, I can't remember anything else that we saw. We saw Peggy Carter.
R.I.P.
On a Captain America like compass. Was it?
I didn't really think of it as I thought
Okay.
I don't think it was.
So we saw that. So yeah, we might be seeing them going back in time to obviously prevent this, because we've seen set shots of them having some kind of thing on their hand. Maybe that might beam them back, Scotty. You know what I kind of mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Thor, little depressed Thor. One person that we did not see in this trailer too was Rocket,
Mm-hmm.
because he's still around. So it's gonna be kind of interesting. And actually, that's another interaction. If Rocket's still on Earth, or maybe Thor took him home or something like that. But if he's still on Earth, I still want to see Scott Lang, them two interact, because I think that's gonna be like the comedic him, and then Bruce, like those, like I just like I'm already ready for that. And then even him and Thor too. Like I'm just like I'm ready to laugh, and I know it's gonna be fucking good because I know how good Paul Rudd is. I'm sorry, he's
Okay.
like the funniest guy in my eyes in the Marvel MCU.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's covers almost everyone, right? Off the top of my head.
Did Michael Pena's character survive though? That's the most important person
dude,
of all of it.
I don't think he's gonna be worried. I think those kind of characters they're not gonna be as worried about.
No, I understand, but
Because
how cool would it be though if he had one of those monologues in like explaining some part of how they're
like
going
Bruce,
to be
the Bruce Banner. Oh my god, I don't know. I think it's gonna be so good. I'm.
Could you imagine one of those scenes, but like with Thanos talking really quickly, like with what he's doing and stuff like that,
or just him explaining something to Thor's like, "Can I just cut his head off?"
or explaining like how half the people died, but in his sort of like crazy style.
Yeah. Oh my. Oh, that's gonna be kind of weird, but yeah.
Something like that. I hope that there's. I don't think there will be, but I hope that there will be.
What? Because at the end of Ant-Man, you saw obviously was the ant still there playing drums, or no? But he's still gonna have ants. Half the ants are gonna be gone. But I mean,
well, there's still a lot of spoiler alert. There's still a lot of ants left.
Yeah. But no, I think regardless of what happens, I think he's gonna probably call his wife, and his wife's not gonna answer, so he's gonna be kind of worried. But I think as soon as he figures out how to come back, he's gonna go straight to the Avengers or something like that.
See, I don't know. Did you notice on that scene when he goes back the archive, like when Scott Lang goes back?
Yeah.
In the top left it says archive. That's my thing with this whole trailer. Like,
it said archive. I thought it said it buzzed them in.
No,
I thought Scarlett Johansson said
the
that.
text on the screen of the video they were watching.
No, but Scarlett Johansson say that was live. This is live.
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. We need to check this.
Steve Rogers asks if it's live, but there's not an answer to it. I don't think. Go to it right now. Skip to it in the trailer. Do it. Because it's in the top left corner. If you look at it, it says archive.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's my thing with this whole trailer in general, is that we can't trust anything we saw.
Obviously. Yeah.
Because we have no clue. There's going to be probably a fairly hefty amount of time manipulation and travel. So we can't trust, like, from scene to scene that there was any continuity in that trailer.
And then also we saw Captain America in his like I think it was Winter Soldier suit, but it was like darkened or shaded.
So like when it focuses on him, it says archive in the top left corner. Do you see it?
No, he says, "Is this an old message?" That's what he says.
Okay.
And then she says, "No, this is the front door."
But it still says archive in the top thing. That the front door, it could be just where he's at. Did you see where it said archive in the top?
I mean, the archive thing, I don't think is that relevant.
It's an old video. That would imply it's an old video.
We'll see. I think it's live.
Okay. Whatever. I don't think we can trust anything. Trust no one.
Or maybe that's something they see, and like he's like doing this weird like little time thing to prove what he's doing, that it works.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Fuck, I'm a genius. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Dude, I'm a genius. To show them. Maybe he goes and like tries to explain it, and they don't believe him, and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm about to F you guys up." And like I would assume Bruce Banner's like, "Yeah, Scott, shut the hell up. You don't know anything." And then he does it, and then this is him proving that it works.
That's pretty good.
Oh, dude, I fucking love these movies. I'm sorry.
Obviously, everyone's looking forward to this movie.
I am.
Can't come soon enough. I'm curious to see obviously how it ends, but when this is the movie. We're 4-ish months from the movie that we've all been waiting for. The movie that the last 10 years.
Oh, the second half of the movie we've been waiting for.
Sure.
It's not a sure, it's a yes.
Well, no, because we need to see
fact.
how this is the one, because this is how it ends.
I know, but still, like you would want to watch Avengers Infinity War. Like if you would ever rewatch it again, you would want to watch it back to back. I wouldn't even watch Captain Marvel. I would watch Captain Marvel way earlier, if anything.
Okay, whatever. I'm curious just to see how everyone reacts now that the story is over. Because this is really like the last 10 years of everyone's pop culture lives have been these movies.
Yeah.
And like we're at a point now where like it's actually kind of coming to an end. We might see some personnel changes in like the acting department. We might not get, maybe we don't get Chris Hemsworth as Thor anymore, and we don't get Chris Evans as Captain America, and Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, stuff like that. I mean, there could be, this will be, after this movie, there could be some very serious changes to the MCU, and I'm curious to see how they kind of traverse that transition.
I wouldn't be too surprised if the end result is where characters are removed. I wouldn't be surprised if like Captain America at the end of this was like there's some weird thing where they have to make him not exist anymore, and he would be willing to take that sacrifice. Like that'd be crazy to like have something like that where he's not Captain America anymore, and then he's like someone else's. Like maybe he's so noble that he allows someone else to be Captain America, and then that's why how we get the new Captain America. In a way,
I guess
I can see those kind of transitions.
I kind of feel like
for the next set of movies.
That this whole thing is gonna have to have some sort of expiration date though, because I know that there's another phase planned after this with like another Guardians movie, Spider-Man Spider-Man
2.
I forgot what the title was. Far From Home. That's it, right? Spider-Man Far From Home.
Sure.
And I think they've already said they're doing a Nova movie.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, the Nova Corps. It's like whatever. So like they obviously have plans for the MCU after, but I also would assume that at some point the X-Men are going to be brought in, and this MCU they can't bring the X-Men in.
Technically.
So
that's why I think
at some point it's going to have to get blown up if that's what they do.
I think that's what they're going to do at the end of this, and that's how they're going to bring everyone else in.
But with Scarlet Witch. I don't know. There's probably a way they could work around it.
I think they're literally at the end of this movie. You're not going to see any of those characters, but you're going to see like a whole like timeline change to where it's like almost an alternate universe. Okay. To where they have to like that's the only way they allow Thanos to lose. Like the one in the whatever 1,000,000th times like that Doctor Strange went through it. I could see them totally just being able to do that, and then like the world is completely different as well.
Okay.
For it to all work, so like, I don't know, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went into some deep cracks on that one. But if you or what do we talk about next? Real quick.
The Game Awards.
But before we get into the Game Awards, let us know in the comments down below of your theories and insights and what you guys think as well on this Marvel's Avengers Endgame trailer, and let us or add on to some of the stuff that what we've said that you kind of agree with, or maybe you can add on to anything else we've already said to solidify it. Yes, definitely. I want to hear them. Let us move on.
Yep.
All right, sir. We got the Video Game Awards that happened last Thursday. As I get older, the less and less I just care about anything in awards in a way, I guess. That makes any sense. Like the Oscars, the Golden Globes, Grammys. Not that this award show doesn't have like the same caliber or is not important at all, because I think it shines on the industry and shows like the hard work that everyone's done that year. Because there's a lot of hard work that goes into video games that goes unnoticed. But it's cool. It's a cool little thing to just have everyone come together, even though there's several events every year where everyone kind of comes together, but not in this kind of version, I guess. But I think the way the show opened up was very nice with all the
Reggie, Sean, and Phil.
Are they all what's their titles for all this, like CEOs?
Yeah, or president, CEO, yeah.
For Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation to come out and kind of come together and, I don't know, have like a great message to start off the show. Off the top of my head, don't remember every single award that was given out. I know God of War won Game of the Year. And then it also won...
Red Dead won a bunch of things, too. Like technical things and like story, I think.
Yeah, story, but I think voice acting, I think the guy that did Arthur, I believe, won that.
He did. Sonic Fox was Esports Player of the Year. Ninja was like online personality of the year, like basically like Twitch streamer of the year.
Indie Game of the Year was Celeste, that was like nominated for Game of the Year, so that's kind of like a good way to give them an award too. I'm just like the other ones I just like was blanking. I was working at the time, and
there was like game direction, which I think was God of War. Soundtrack stuff, original songs, all sorts of stuff.
But yeah, those were just the award winners. Announcements. Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I have all of them written down if you want to.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So these are in chronological order of like when they were revealed throughout the show. So I did skip some. There were all sorts of bits of information on various indie games from a wide variety of developers. So you can check those out. And also something that we're not talking about here that happened a couple days later was the Kind of Funny Game Showcase. That was the Saturday after this. So that was also skewed much more towards the indie scene. So if you want to check that out, you guys can. But as far as the Game Awards are concerned, the first kind of bigger of the announcements was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. What's unique about this is that it's a Switch exclusive, which is really surprising to me, just because I think the Switch sales right now are somewhere in the 13 million units range. So I'm kind of surprised that they decided to pigeonhole themselves into a relatively small market.
Is this like an MMO at all?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, this
basically.
Suck.
So it's much more like comic, cartoon, graphic-ish.
Yeah. My problem with this is like the way to communicate with people. I'm not.
Come on, it's the Nintendo Switch online service.
Yeah, but don't you have to use your phone for that?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how that is doing at the moment.
Probably terrible.
I would assume people are just going to be able to play this game through Discord and use that as their way to communicate with people.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they have to use Discord on their computer while they play.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Ultimate Alliance on their Switch.
I would assume that a lot of people have a Switch and a PC, and you don't even need that powerful of a PC to have Discord, anyways.
Okay.
You just have to really have a good, decent internet connection.
I think Ultimate Alliance 2, I think, was a 360 game. So it's been a while since there's been one of these installments. So hopefully it's at least decent and fun if that's your scene. The comic book MMO, if that's your scene. The second thing, probably like a top 3 as far as announcements are concerned, was Far Cry New Dawn. It's, I believe, standalone DLC for Far Cry 5. You can buy New Dawn just by itself, but it's not a full-fledged new game.
Yeah, it's like what they did with the Dragon something.
Blood Dragon,
yeah. Kind of in a way.
So this is releasing February 15th. You're playing as twins, and the story I know is set after the end.
I thought the twins were the antagonists.
Oh, really? I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, I thought they were the bad guys.
Oh, okay.
And I thought
I missed that.
And I thought you play as like the original antagonist from the movie the game that.
Okay, well maybe I messed that up. I'm not sure. But it is set after the ending of Far Cry 5.
It's like a post-apocalyptic.
Right. Yeah. After, I guess, spoiler alert, they drop a bunch of nukes on Montana, wherever they are. I don't know. I didn't play that game. In any case, check out Far Cry New Dawn if you're a fan of the Far Cry franchise.
Go check it out.
There was a new trailer for Anthem, which is a BioWare Destiny wannabe.
Real quick.
Yes. Oh wait, the bottom here.
Yeah. So we can get tiny. loosen it a little bit, actually. And push. Okay, now. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. One of the mic stands loosened.
Alright.
Perfect.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good. All right. Coming back. There was a new Anthem trailer for BioWare's version of Destiny. It went into a little bit of detail about the suits that they wear and why they have to wear them and such. So you can check that out if you're interested. Anthem, I did not write down the release date. I believe it is a February 22nd. I think it's one of those games that's coming out on the 22nd of February, along with Metro and something else. There's another big game that's releasing on that day as well. I'm blanking on what it is. In any case, check that trailer out if you guys want to see that. They also finally confirmed the long-awaited rumors that Crash Team Racing was going to be getting a reboot. It is going to be releasing on June 21st. I'm not really surprised that they're choosing to do this, especially with the new Crash that's coming and like they remastered with the Insane trilogy. So Crash is kind of hot right now, so I'm not surprised.
It was kind of like the trilogy. The trilogy release was kind of the confirmation to give them the green light to do something like this. They probably saw a good number in sales to where like, okay, people want this, so let's do this. Yeah. And then, you talked about a Crash reboot?
Yeah, they already said they're making a new Crash game.
So there wasn't there's just Crash coming in 2020 or something like that.
Not in this. The Crash reboot thing came at E3.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, when they announced the Insane trilogy.
I have no idea. Okay, I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay.
Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
He might be.
Did you ever play? I've never played Crash Team Racing. It seems like Mario Kart.
I've only played a regular Crash. Yeah, it's like the Banjo-Kazooie one they did too. Nuts and bolts. Yeah, something like that. It's like that kind of, but it wasn't. It was like the third one out of the top, like those three. You know what I mean?
Okay. The next game that was announced was the new. I guess it's an RPG, from Obsidian, called Outer Worlds. It seems very, like, Borderlands cross Destiny cross Fallout. I don't know, sort of thing. Kind of weird trailer. You keep snapping your fingers and pointing everywhere because you correctly predicted that even though Obsidian was purchased by Microsoft, that their new game was going to be released on everything. What I didn't realize when you made that prediction, was that their new game was so close to being ready. I expected that it was going to be a few years and then it was going to be available to just Xbox users as an exclusive. But like I said, I didn't think their game was going to come so quickly, but it did. So here we are.
Yeah, I think even if this game was like a year and a half out, I still don't think this would have been an exclusive.
Is this the one that was like the original creators that they kept specifically mentioning they were the original Fallout creators?
Yeah, it's the original writers, I believe, or part of that team that did that, and then they also did Fallout. Some of them did Fallout New Vegas. I remember the guy that worked on Fallout New Vegas when he was at Obsidian. They did it unfiltered on IGN when he talked about making that game. But he was only on the Fallout team, the original team, up until I think the later, like maybe 2 or the PlayStation release one, because they released one on the PS2, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too certain on like how many of the original creators there are. But yeah, this game looks really, really good. I think what benefits this game is the art style of it, to where it's gonna look good, and they don't have to have it look like Red Dead Redemption. You know what I mean? So they can have they don't have to make this game look totally just beautiful. You know what I mean? So it just kind of plays to that, I guess. And I would assume this game is gonna be really good, because usually the last couple Obsidian games, RPG games, have been amazing. With the South Park games, and then going all the way back to Fallout New Vegas, they've all been great RPGs and games that you are able to just play. I think Colin did a video on the top 10 RPGs out like this past 10 years, and New Vegas and the South Park games are on there. And I would definitely just play South Park just to play an RPG. If you're into RPG games, I would just play South Park as well. Regardless if you don't even have anything, or if you've never watched a South Park episode, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I think Anthem's going to be the game I'm going to be right about this time though. Out of all those games,
Remind me of your Anthem prediction.
it's gonna not be good.
Well, I mean, Destiny's not good, but a bunch of people play that game. The next thing, I guess I kind of threw this in here for myself just because I kind of feel bad for all the crap that Hello Games got for the way they handled No Man's Sky. But their newest game, this is not the full team, but I think it was like maybe just two people, or at least like kind of the brainchild of two people from Hello Games. This is the first game that they're going to be releasing since No Man's Sky, which has been, 4 years now?
3.
3, you think?
I think 3.
So I guess good on them that they feel comfortable enough with the community that they can release another game, that maybe there's not such a stain on that studio as there has been over the last couple of years. I think they've made some really good steps with No Man's Sky as far as kind of reaching out to the community and like the changes that they've made with that game. It's a completely different game than it used to be.
This game in particular is kind of definitely a departure of that, but also it looks
this is definitely basically an indie game.
Yeah, but it looks like cute and fun. I want to try
Could
it.
be, yeah.
I don't
potential.
totally try indie games just because of the fact that they kind of don't come out at the right time for me to try to play, in a way. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would say if I was an indie developer, I would try to get your game out like right before summer.
I feel like there probably are a lot that.
I only know like Guacamelee and like Soft Cells came out like at the end of summer.
I mean, that's why Xbox used to have like the summer of arcade stuff, because like all those indie games are coming out in the summer.
Well, I don't know. Whenever this game comes out, hopefully it does.
An update quickly to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The winter map, I think if you're on PC and you have the test servers, is available now. It is a 6K by 6K map, I believe. And then the winter maps will be releasing on console. They just said in January. So I guess they kind of kept their promise, but kind of broke their promise, because they said that they were going to be available in 2018, and they are available on the test servers, and then they're going to be actually available in 2019. So they pushed it kind of as late as they could.
I wouldn't care about their promise. I would just care about if it's actually going to be good. But I mean, it's
too
already
late.
over.
We talked about what was it? Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And Battlefields isn't coming until next year,
but I still think there's people that have played PUBG in the past that have switched over to Black Ops that are gonna want to try this anyways.
We'll see.
One
thing that they announced about it that was cool.
I'm gonna do it too. So
one thing they announced about it that was cool was that
snowmobiles.
There's footprints.
Oh yeah, footprints.
You can track people.
Santa Claus is gonna be this.
Probably at some point.
Reindeer.
I don't know.
Rudolph.
In any case. BioWare, moving on. BioWare also teased it wasn't really a full announcement, but kind of teasing the existence of a Dragon Age 4 with a short little 30-second trailer. You can check that out online.
Yeah, for you Dragon Age fans.
If you're a big Dragon Age person,
that's for you guys.
And last but not least, for whatever reason, you thought this was like the least of the announcements. But the creator of Mortal Kombat, whose name escapes me, came out on stage, and they did a reveal for MK11, which is actually releasing a lot sooner than I thought it would.
What did I say?
When you started talking about the Game Awards and what was
I said it like it was like one of the worst things one of the worst announcements I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why you feel that way.
The song was terrible, dog.
No one cares about the song in a trailer. Everyone's just excited for Mortal Kombat.
I didn't.
In any case.
Anyways, it was a cinematic trailer, and it didn't even look that good.
April 23rd. April 23rd is going to be the release of Mortal Kombat 11. I've never been a big Mortal Kombat guy. I'm personally much more invested in Injustice than I am in Mortal Kombat. So I'm kind of just waiting for Injustice 3. But I'm sure Anthony will buy this, so I'll play it some. But
yeah, I think this game will do fine, just like it always does. I mean, it just feels weird how they're not annual releases, but they're like one after the other kind of releases with Injustice in this. I don't know. I think they're kind of getting stale because they're just kind of like the same game in a way. There's a couple of new things in there, I guess, and just kind of like an update version. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem cool, or not cool. It just doesn't seem anything that I want to bite my teeth into anymore.
Okay.
Then the first two, the first Mortal Kombat 9 and the first Injustice, I was like, oh, this is cool, and then they started to just poop these out, and I'm like, eh.
There's a couple of years in between all of the
I guess, but
Like
still.
MKX was a while ago.
Whatever. I don't care.
All right, fine. Fair enough.
I'm just not into fighting games. Sorry. Smash is where it's at.
So that is it for our Game Awards recap. So
Yes. But we're gonna get into some history. And before we do that, let us know in the comments down below on what you guys were excited about for the Game Awards, what you guys are most or least excited about, and what games you were disappointed they didn't showcase at the Game Awards. Let us know in the comments down below. Are you ready
Let's do it.
to take a drive down Pennsylvania Avenue and get some history?
Okay, you ready?
All right, guys, get your knowledge caps on like we do.
Sure.
He's wearing a hat. I'm wearing a beanie. Kind of wearing caps.
One of these is a knowledge cap. One of them is not. You decide.
I mean, you're wearing a White Sox hat. So
What do you got against the White Sox?
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
December 13th, 1812.
Woo! That's a long time ago.
Yeah, there was some sort of war that year. I don't know. The last of Napoleon's Grand Army. This has nothing to do with that war, by the way. The last of Napoleon's Grand Army arrives in Poland after being thoroughly annihilated by the Russian winter. So R.I.P. to all those dudes. Yeah, I guess that's really.
Yeah, that was
about it.
like I forgot the percentage. It was just as bad as like the Germans back in World War II. Like the percentage of people that actually got back home. Definitely a lot of deserters as well that didn't make it back. And it's kind of weird how some stuff like that where like a Frenchman ends up in like Eastern Europe and then just like there's definitely stories of soldiers that just made up shop and like just lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get those like different bloodlines going on. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like there's people in Eastern Europe that have French last names still. But yeah, definitely devastating. Just the way the Russians handle warfare like that, it's kind of crazy. But yeah.
December 14th, 1799 marks the death. It was the day that George Washington passed away at his estate at Mount Vernon. Obviously, the first president of the United States, commander of the Continental Army during the Revolution. I have been there. He's buried next to Martha Washington. They're in these like gated little. There's like each of like their actual like burial site has like a little building over it.
Oh, like a tomb.
Kind of. It's not like it has an iron gate that you can walk into.
Oh, okay.
If it's obviously locked when you're there, but like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 walls and a roof and then an iron gate. I don't like each one of them. That's pretty cool. December 14th, 1819. Again, keeping with all states are admitted into the Union in the fourth quarter of the year.
I think we've had one like every week.
At least one, yeah.
Like the last month and a half.
December 14th, 1819, Alabama becomes the 22nd state. Partially because there was a demand to level obviously before there were 21 states, but there were 11 free states and 10 slave states. So Alabama was admitted as the 22nd state to bring the balance to 11 and 11. Obviously Alabama's in the South, so there you go. December 14th, 1896, Air Force General, eventually General, James H. Doolittle is born. He's obviously most famous for Doolittle's Raid, which was the first bombing campaign of the Japanese home islands.
First bombing, yeah.
Yeah. So he had to engineer this whole plan. They stripped down B-25 Mitchells of like all their armor and like extra weapons and such in order to launch the B-25 Mitchells off of carriers and bomb the home islands. I think like most of those people died. I think.
Or were captured.
Right, because they didn't actually make it to their destination in China. But in any case, it's a really cool story. If you've ever seen the movie Pearl Harbor, there's a very dramatized version of this.
I think they made a documentary of this not too long ago.
I'm sure they did.
Like an updated one, and they talked about it.
How
crazy it was to do that, to launch those planes off of the carriers, which has never been done before.
Yeah. December 14th, 1911. A man named Roald. I'm not sure if there was a typo on this, if it's supposed to be Ronald, but it said Roald Amundsen. He and his crew were the ones that discovered the South Pole in the Antarctic.
Oh, some penguins with that too, probably.
Yep.
Probably ate some penguins too.
Probably did, actually. December 15th, 1832, a man named Alexander Gustav Eiffel is born. He was the chief architect, obviously, behind the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I forget what they actually built that for, but whatever, it's cool.
Don't they have multiple? Something multiple Eiffel Towers?
I don't think so.
Oh, I know for the longest time that was the tallest structure built since the pyramids.
Okay, yeah, that's probably right. December 15th, 1890, Sitting Bull is killed in a shootout at his cabin in Standing Rock, South Carolina. There was an army, I forgot his name, Lieutenant something or other. He was sent to arrest him, and then they ended up in a shootout, and Sitting Bull was killed. Obviously, it kind of stoked the racial tensions between Native Americans and the U.S. government at that time with his death. I also didn't realize that, obviously Standing Rock was in the news a few years ago with the whole Keystone Pipeline thing, and I didn't even equate that was where this had happened, or where that was even a significant location.
Yeah, I mean, even the Mountain Rushmore, that's actually apparently from, I've read this somewhere, I forgot what it was, I'm not sure if it's fact or not, but apparently that was sacred ground as well, where they actually built the Mountain Rushmore.
Okay.
And that was, I think it's the same tribe that's related to them, because that's obviously Mountain Rushmore is in North Dakota, right? Yeah.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
Or Wyoming?
No. It's in South Dakota.
Oh, South Dakota?
The Black Hills are in South Dakota. Or at least where that is in the Black Hills are in South Dakota.
Okay, whatever.
December 16th, 1485, Catherine of Aragon is born. She is the first of many wives to Henry VIII.
This is a fantasy show? Catherine of Aragon.
Catherine of Aragon is born. She had she had 6 children. Obviously, Henry VIII is famous for killing his wives because they would not bear him.
Wait, I'm guessing she's the one that finally had a male.
No, she's the first wife.
Oh, she was the first wife?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't get a male at all, I don't think, right? Or maybe later.
I think there was one, but he died as an infant. So Catherine of Aragon had 6 children with Henry VIII, all of them female, and only one of them survived into adulthood.
Damn.
Mary the First.
Dust.
So yeah, and then obviously her husband Henry VIII created the Church of England because he was not allowed. The Catholic Church would not allow him to divorce Catherine of Aragon. So he left the Catholic Church, made his own rules basically, so that he could divorce his wife. And he remarried 8 times and never had an heir. So
Dust.
there you go.
R.I.P. sperm.
Lots of birthdays on December 16th. December 16th, 1770, Ludwig van Beethoven is born. Obviously, probably the most famous of the classical composers. I would say maybe him and Bach.
Mozart?
Mozart.
Come on, dude.
No, I think I would put Beethoven above
top
Mozart.
3 right there, dude.
Well, yeah, sure. But I think I would put.
I'm trying to remember. I watched
Beethoven.
Bill and Ted recently, and I'm pretty sure it's Beethoven and not Mozart. But which one? Who? Beethoven was the one that was death. One of them was death for sure.
I feel like that was Mozart.
Okay, well Mozart was on Bill and Ted then.
Okay.
But regardless, badasses of their time. They're all around. They were all around the same time.
Yeah,
I think so, right?
More
Most
or
of them
less.
were German too.
Mozart
Russian?
is Austrian.
Well, same thing.
Okay, whatever.
I'm just kidding.
December 16th, 1773 is the anniversary of the Boston Tea Party, where a bunch of people angry about the new, not the Stamp Act, maybe it was the Stamp Act, I don't know. Anyway, there were new taxes on tea, and the people in the colonies were not happy about it, so they decided to dump all the British tea into the Boston Harbor. They dressed up as Indians though, so that no one knew who it was.
Yeah, dude, this is like this is all like weird from like you hear like revisionist history and then you hear like actual history. It's like mumble jumbo, like I don't even know the straight story anymore after hearing so many different versions. So I kind of have my own in my head, but I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
But it was definitely like a what's it called, like the tea industry at the time, kind of saying like, if you guys were not doing this, of like the colonies. Because like tea, tobacco, all those kind of what would you call them, kind of resources,
Commodities.
There you go. That were going on in the colonies that were kind of being taken advantage of. So
December 16th, 1775 is the birthday of Jane Austen, author of Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, and probably other things that I'm just not aware of or ignorant.
Well, obviously, Pride and Prejudice is our number one go-to. Like, hey, yo, you know who Jane Austen? Like Pride and Prejudice, though.
Yeah.
I totally forgot what that book is all about. Isn't it like
It's like three sisters and they're all trying to find husbands.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a that was a huge generalization of that book right there, but that's kind of like there's like a Percy, and there's like I don't remember all the names.
I think
we read that book in high school / Spark noted it.
I didn't.
Really? Oh,
No.
Maybe it was honors then.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You guys are always you guys always read our books during like summer break or something like that, and then you guys got to read like the cool ones.
We were supposed to read the books.
Yeah.
Summer break. How many of those books did I read?
That's
during
what I'm saying.
break?
I was like, yo, dude, like, I remember talking to like one of my teachers, and I was like, yo, when are we gonna read one of these cool books? Because like you guys were talking about these books. I was like, I want to read one of those, dude. And it was like,
you didn't miss much.
Huh?
You didn't miss much.
Well, I know. I enjoyed some of the books. Like I enjoyed 1984, Lord of the Flies. I still like those books. To Kill a Mockingbird. Like one of the I reordered To Kill a Mockingbird for my nephew. I'm gonna give him that early before.
Did you ever read the sequel?
I have not gotten to do that.
Along Came a Watchman.
Yeah, I still need to order that. But if he enjoys that, then I'm gonna order that for him. I also got him Watchmen. But anyways, I enjoyed all those books. Well, no, because he's in the comic books, and like I sometimes he comes.
Is that where you want to start? Is Watchmen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Watchmen's a great comic book for him, and it's also I also didn't want to get him like a series of stuff. I wanted to get him something where he can read back to front and like not have to like get something else to like read with it. You know what I mean? So where it's
fair
like,
enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. December 16th, 1944.
Watchmen's really good though.
The Battle of the Bulge begins in Germany. This was kind of Germany's last stand before their surrender. They were almost successful in extending the war. They had this really big effort to try to drive a wedge in the Allied lines in Western Germany. And they were very, very close to succeeding, and they would have isolated like a whole portion of the Allied army, kind of like in the Netherlands and Belgium, had they been successful. But it was kind of their last-ditch effort to extend the war, to resist the Allies, and although obviously Russia was coming
On the other side.
from the other side, so it probably it wouldn't have helped them in the long run. But
yeah, you can't really extend resources, and also losing Africa was probably a big thing, or North Africa and the Middle East, I guess, with all the oil reserves they could have had to definitely keep the war going. But losing all that stuff definitely kind of, I think losing that part was like the inevitable loss that we would have gotten regardless. But yeah, I forgot how like the lines look like when you actually look at like the actual lines, because like we had like weird lines, and like in the middle we had like the Americans, and then on the top we had like the Canadians, then the British, and the Australians.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if there was a French at all helping us out.
They would have been scattered in there, not
Yeah.
like a formal. There wouldn't have been like a formal.
Yeah, and they
French
would
army.
have been in like the stronghold areas. They would have been like, oh, just watch his post.
Guard Switzerland for us.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just interesting to look at those lines. And then even down in like the southern areas, like where Greece was, there was like resistant fighters down there too.
Yeah.
But it was like weird how we didn't go through Italy just to go straight through. We just went all the way, you know. We could have just like went straight shot into.
Oh, I mean, we did go through Italy.
I know, but like we didn't. I mean, like just totally have those resources to go straight to Germany instead of like landing at Normandy and just like letting like you can hold France, keep it. We're good. We're gonna go straight to Germany from Italy. You know what I mean?
Well, it would have been like way harder. The whole point of the Normandy invasion was to have another front against Germany.
I guess, but like I don't know. Just in my eyes, just the way it looked. Maybe because like the natural barriers, I guess. But still.
In any case, the 16th of 44 is the anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. It's beginning anyway. December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, complete the very first successful flight of a self-propelled plane. This is obviously one of the biggest, I guess, technological advancements that were made. They were they were working on this in the 1800s for sure, but getting this right after the turn of the century, something that transformed the world and transformed society, transformed the military, transformed a lot of things. Their work and people that took their work and expanded upon it.
Yeah, we have a guy, or we had two brothers down in Santa Ana where we live. I have to double check. I have to relook who and what they were, but they had like a similar timing of doing this kind of stuff too. But yeah, it's like weird. Last week we had refrigeration. I think that's one just as big as like flight. And then like people like like when you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh, it's just refrigeration. You're like, no, dog, that's refrigeration. Like you want cold food, you want food that lasts longer.
Preserved food, yeah.
Or preserved food, like yo.
Yeah. December 17th, 1944. I guess sort of a fact that gets overlooked a lot, especially in the context of World War II. But December 17th, 1944, the United States government approves an end to the internment of Japanese American people in the United States. Something that I would imagine that not a whole lot, especially our age, not a whole lot of people even are aware of, that there were these internment camps here in the United States for, realistically, almost all Asian American people. There were a lot of other races that were caught up in it, not just Japanese people, and a lot of those camps were here on the West Coast. Obviously, the majority of
Japanese
of Asian immigrants were on the West Coast anyway. But yeah,
I mean, it's unfortunate that happened, and it was unconstitutional as well. But you know, there's other things that, like, I guess during the times, this is you that excuse, it does work for this, just the times, because obviously the Pearl Harbor attack, the people that helped out with carrying out that were Japanese Americans, I believe, that were in Pearl Harbor taking pictures and sending them back to Japan. So there was coordination. I think they just wanted to prevent any of that from happening, which made sense. And then a lot of the people in those concentration camps' sons served in the war. I remember listening to a Vietnam veteran who was Japanese that fought in Vietnam, but his two older brothers fought in World War II. I'm not too sure if it was in the Pacific. I think they got sent to Europe, actually, to fight. And a lot of those units obviously were looked down upon, like they're, kind of, but they also fought harder than any other units. There's stories of African American units, Hispanic units, and Japanese or Asian units that fought very violently and sacrificed just as much as anyone else did.
Yeah,
which was kind of like it's a weird change too in the war, or in American military kind of life, or because like usually any like military war, there was it was even a smaller percentage before this that fought in like the Civil War and like World War I, where we sent over minorities, but there was a very small percentage. But there was always someone there. It was very small. But like even at the time of this too, or even like during World War I, like Italians were treated just like how Mexicans were kind of treated, in the same kind of vein, I guess. Just because they were from like Southern Europe and they look different, obviously. Even Irish too were treated pretty poorly. And you kind of see like a transition of the what's it called, political kind of use of like that kind of energy towards a certain people, I guess. But yeah, I mean, shout out to all those guys that fought, and regardless of like they knew their situation at home, but they knew they can try to make a difference.
On a completely different note, December 18th, 1946. We don't cover a lot of pop culture on This Week in History, but I think this guy's pretty significant. This is the birthday of a man named Steven Spielberg. Probably in, for sure, the top 5 like directors, I would say, of all time.
Yeah, a guy that really has a knack for immersing people with simple things. There was a scene, I forgot what movie it was. It was like a bomb scene where you just heard different sounds and different. You saw.
Oh, it's Munich.
Munich, yeah. Well, you saw what was going on in the car, but like at a distance where like these guys are viewing it, they're not going to be able to hear it, but like you heard it in the cinema. And
like they were on the phone too, so they were using the
yes, but,
phone
like,
for
it's
like part of the other.
his like way of shooting and creating these great movies is very I don't want to say it's totally unique, because obviously guys have come and done it after him. Maybe I don't want to say have done it better, but there's definitely been movies after him that have been good because they've been influenced by him. But a guy that definitely is up there for sure.
Yeah.
And has been part of great movies.
And covered a huge spectrum of genres and such as well. I mean, just with like Saving Private Ryan and War Horse and Ready Player One. And
yes.
Jaws, right?
Jaws, that's true.
All sorts of stuff.
Indiana Jones, he helped out with.
Yeah, so he's covered a little bit of everything. And obviously he's been one of the pioneers for various filmmaking techniques and effects and all sorts of stuff. He's had his hands on a lot of different developmental things that have occurred in the movie industry over the last 50 years now.
I'm glad that he doesn't do too much CGI as well. Which is, I mean, unfortunately, Ready Player One had to be, but still.
Yeah. Last but not least, December 19th, 1998. I think this is probably one of the more recent ones we've had as of late. I know we had a SpaceX launch, I think, last week, right?
Yeah.
December 19th, 1998. Articles of impeachment are filed against President Bill Clinton for lying under oath, perjury, basically. He was the second president to be impeached, or to like go through the process anyway. They obviously didn't remove him from office, but the House filed they did their half basically of the impeachment thing, but he was not convicted in the Senate.
Could have been the third if someone didn't
Nixon
leave. Yeah,
had
if he
stuck around.
Yeah, if he would have stuck. And then Andrew Johnson was the other one. This is very is it ironic on the way that the situation's going on right now?
I would say so, yeah.
With how Trump, because he might be in the same seat as him, or same hot seat as him for not similar things, but the similar kind of way they might do is do that.
Yeah.
Lane. But yeah, it's kind of weird how that's the anniversary, and then this is going on right now. But we'll see what happens, honestly.
Yeah. That's all I got.
It's very fitting for the timing of that. Do not have sexual relations with that lady. All right. That has been it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the Jacob and Me podcast show. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, Colin College Avenue, and liking this video. Also, if you're listening on the audio platforms, thank you guys for listening as well. If you're listening on SoundCloud, please consider giving us that big old heart, because that helps us out, and following us so you can get the latest from us. Also on iTunes Podcast and Google Play, same over there. Give us some love. Thank you very much. I have been the host, Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. We shall see you in the next episode of Jacob and Me Podcast. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.